John, with a cold demeanor, addressed Emily. Sign this agreement and give your kidney to Lily. Then I'll marry you.
Sign this agreement and give your kidney to Lily. Then I'll marry you.
Emily, sorrowful and pitiful, nodded despite her tearful voice.
Okay.
Watching the scene, a chill ran down my spine. According to the original plot, as the CEO's manipulative ex, I pretended to have kidney issues and misled John to make Emily donate her kidney to me. Emily's fate was tragic.
Thinking of this, I suddenly sat up energized.
I absolutely cannot take this kidney.
I just had a bit of a stomach issue, and you want to take her kidney?
Hey, can you look at my medical report?
According to the plot, the original character intended to hide the medical report and bribe the doctor to make John think I needed a kidney donation. But now I'm laying it all out. It's just a stomach problem. To my surprise, John took the medical report, crumpled it up, and threw it on the ground.
Emily, don't try any tricks. You must donate this kidney.
I was stunned on the spot.
Brother, you're too deep into your role. At least look at the report. I'm perfectly fine and don't need a kidney. I have two, and that's enough. A third one is useless. Stop causing trouble for me.
John smirked, his eyes showing a mix of mockery and indifference.
Lily, don't worry. I won't let anything happen to you.
Sweat beaded on my forehead. Unable to hold back, I gave him a sharp elbow jab.
Can't you understand human language? I said no donation. Are you deaf or just stupid?
John clutched his stomach, his face contorted in pain, looking utterly shocked. But to my surprise, Emily didn't appreciate my effort at all.
Sarah, I'll donate the kidney. You don't need to do this for me.
Fine. You two are a perfect match. I shouldn't have bothered.
All right, you guys handle it yourselves. Whoever wants to donate, go ahead.
I must be cursed to end up as the ex in a cliched CEO drama. Even if you give me a kidney, what good is it to a normal person like me?
Lily, don't worry. I'll arrange the surgery immediately. Your condition won't be delayed.
I was speechless. If I could, I'd slap him twice more.
Are you completely ignorant of the law? Can we not be so twisted in a society governed by law?
On second thought, if I left Emily alone, she might really end up donating her kidney, all because of me. I fumbled under the blanket and finally found my phone. I quickly dialed 911.
Hello? Police? I'd like to report an illegal organ trade. Please come quickly.
After hanging up, I looked up to see two puzzled faces staring at me. Of course, in the world of CEOs, how could there be police? If you don't carry 2 copies of the criminal code, can you even call yourself a CEO? In their astonished gazes, a police officer walked in. His jet black hair was neatly combed, his eyebrows sharp and defined, eyes piercingly dark, and lips thin and firm. His upright posture exuded an imposing presence. This was no ordinary police officer. This was the kind of officer straight out of a James poem.
Who reported the case?
A deep, magnetic voice reached my ears. I couldn't help but stare in a daze. Who needs a domineering CEO when you have the allure of a uniform? I almost didn't react. I reported it. He forced her to donate a kidney to me. I pointed at John, then at Emily. John was clearly taken aback by the situation. He couldn't understand why his gentle and tender muse would call the police. But a domineering CEO is still a domineering CEO. His face darkened, and he blurted out,
Be smart and leave, or I'll make sure you can't stay in a city.
I felt a chill down my spine. How could he say such things so naturally? Didn't he feel embarrassed?
The donation is voluntary. He didn't force me.
Emily, who was huddled in the corner, spoke up. I was utterly frustrated. At a time like this, when your life is at stake, how could you still say such things? You really are asking for a tragic fate.
What exactly is going on here?
One claimed coercion, the other claimed willingness, leaving the young officer confused. I immediately picked up the crumpled medical report from the floor, smoothed it out, and handed it to the officer. Officer, these two are out of their minds. I'm perfectly healthy, yet they insist I need her kidney and are forcing me to accept it.
Emily, stop it. You know I've always loved you. She's just a stand-in for you. Let's just get the surgery done.
John said, his eyes full of pity. I could see from his eyes that he thought I was trying to spare him from suffering by bearing the pain alone. I was speechless. Could you please open your eyes? Do I look like I'm suffering? I'm not that noble.
Sir, forcing someone to donate an organ is illegal. You should know that, right? If you continue to coerce this lady into donating an organ, you'll have to come with us.
The young officer said righteously, looking at John. John was stunned, his face darkening further. Anyone who had read the original story knew this was a sign of his impending outburst. In the city, he was like a local tyrant, and no one had ever dared to speak to him like this, let alone a young officer.
What's your name?
My name is Michael, badge number 585-8678.
Michael replied, unfazed by the domineering aura of the CEO. Characters with names in a story usually have a purpose or hold a certain status. Hearing this name, I remembered that this young officer was from the Zhou family. After Michael spoke, John suddenly looked up at a 45-degree angle.
The weather's getting cold. The Zhou family is about to go bankrupt.
Help, this is so awkward.
John, this has nothing to do with him. Don't act rashly.
Together, these two couldn't come up with a complete. Initially, I believed Michael would either exit in disgrace under John's overbearing pressure or call his superior to manage the situation. To everyone's astonishment, Michael, this handsome young man, was undeterred by authority. He interrupted John mid-rant.
Excuse me, you all need to come with me.
It was unbearable. These two simply couldn't communicate. On the bright side, as long as Emily kept her kidney, a bit of awkwardness on my part was worth it. While they were off having a chat at the station, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and drove my luxury car back to my mansion. In this story, I, the epitome of grace and beauty, definitely belong to the category of rich and beautiful women. Although my parents passed away, they left me a substantial inheritance, enough for several lifetimes of spending. I made up my mind to stay away from John and enjoy my life. With so much money, why cling to John? There are plenty of men out there. Why tie myself to him for a good life? But reality doesn't always go as planned. I had only spent one night at home when I checked my phone. 105 missed calls. Of course, it was John, persistent as ever. No wonder he's the local tycoon of a city. He got out of the police station so quickly. Couldn't they have kept him a bit longer? Hello, what's up?
Emily, I got the marriage certificate with Emily.
Congratulations, best wishes for your marriage, and may you have children soon. I was ecstatic inside. As long as he didn't bother me, everything was fine.
Emily, don't worry. We signed an agreement. I'll divorce her in a year. Wait for me.
Wait for you. No way. Wish you both happiness. Don't bother me. Thanks. I hung up the phone without hesitation. It's hard to imagine what kind of worldview the author had when writing this novel. Just as I put down my phone, it buzzed again. Hello, who is this? Is this Lily? It's Grandma. Don't you remember me? Grandma? Who's Grandma? It couldn't be mine, right? I remained silent for a moment. I'm John's grandmother. Next Saturday is John's and Emily's wedding. You must come. Grandma misses you. So it was John's grandmother. I then remembered that in the original story, John's family was very fond of the female lead and always tried to bring them together. They thought I, the epitome of grace and beauty, was interfering in the relationship between the male and female leads. It's settled then. You must come. Before I could respond, she hung up the phone. It was clear that John's grandmother's call had one purpose: to make me give up on John. John's grandmother, Just like that, I spent a week indulging in food and drink, living the good life. In the meantime, John kept calling and trying to corner me, pester me multiple times, but I just ignored him. Finally, the day of their wedding arrived. Holding the invitation, I walked into a lavish hotel. I had to admit, John really spared no expense. It was hard to tell if this was a hotel or a castle. A waiter guided me to a seat in the grand lobby. As soon as I sat down, I noticed a familiar figure.
Michael? What is he doing here?
My gaze must have been too intense because Michael noticed me.
Hi.
He nodded slightly and returned a polite smile.
So handsome. Not that I'm being infatuated, but I admit John, as the main character of the story, is incredibly good-looking. However, his mind is a mess, and I can't appreciate that. On the other hand, Michael's style is exactly my type.
I was just about to find an excuse to strike up a conversation when a beautiful woman next to me leaned in and whispered,
"Are you here for the young master of the Zhou family too?"
The young master of the Zhou family? Do you mean Michael?
Yes, the young master of the Zhou group. Quite a few people are here for him today. He gave up a comfortable life as a wealthy heir to become a police officer. He's truly one of a kind in a city.
What a unique character. Unstained by the usual drama. Author. Do you even know how to write? Why isn't he the main character?
Just then, a cheerful voice called from behind me.
Emily, you're here.
I turned around to see John and Emily standing right behind me. John was in a perfectly tailored suit, and Emily was in an exquisite wedding dress. They stood together, looking like the perfect match.
Well, congratulations on your wedding. Wishing you both happiness and a family soon.
But as soon as I finished, John's face darkened.
Typical of him to want everything at once.
Emily,
It's your big day, don't make me slap you. My black belt in Taekwondo isn't just for show.
John's expression froze. I was afraid he might start spouting some nonsense about being a stand-in. If he did, I really would have to take action.
Sarah, thank you for coming to bless us today.
You're welcome. I genuinely think you two are a perfect match. They say men think with their lower half, and I've given you the opportunity. Whether you can seize it is up to you, sister.
With the socializing done, it was time to eat. I didn't care if they left or not. I turned around and sat down, ready to savor some high-end French foie gras. But then a girl in a bridesmaid dress walked over. Judging by her outfit, she must be the bride's close friend, Jessica. I slowly chewed on the French foie gras I had just put in my mouth. After a moment, I nodded.
What's up? Looking for me?
Do you have any shame? 3 years ago, you left John and went abroad. Now that you've had your fun, you want to come back and interfere with John and Emily's relationship. Is there anyone more shameless than you?
Her sharp voice cut through the noise, drawing quite a few glances our way. Ugh, whose kettle is boiling? It's so grating. I dug at my ear and rolled my eyes.
Are you showing off again? What did I interfere with? Did you see me interfere? Do you have evidence? Are you going to prove it?
My words were precise and my voice gradually grew louder. Jessica was taken aback and didn't respond immediately, looking a bit stunned.
Just because you're straightforward doesn't mean you should speak without thinking.
Her face turned red, and she gritted her teeth.
You're so uncivilized.
I am uncivilized, and what can you do about it?
You're shameless.
And you're thick-skinned.
You,
what? You've got something stuck in your teeth.
Jessica was about to say something but quickly closed her mouth, her face turning pale as she covered it with her hand. Weak, pathetic. I could take on 10 of you alone. Even though the original person was a bit of a mess, go pick a fight with them instead. Don't think you can mess with me. Hearing the commotion, Emily quickly ran over, her face not looking too good.
Sarah, if my friend has offended you, I'll have her apologize, but I think you should also apologize to her.
She looked at me resolutely, with a determined expression that gave me a headache. This kind of sour face is just unbearable. Didn't know stupidity was contagious. But to avoid further entanglement, I immediately backed down.
Sorry.
My quick apology left Emily a bit stunned. She hadn't expected me to be so straightforward. She tugged at Jessica's sleeve. Jessica didn't say anything, just glared at me fiercely.
You're not apologizing? Then I take mine back.
A nearby beauty couldn't hold back and laughed. John's face darkened further as he noticed the attention we were drawing. He grabbed Emily and walked away without looking back. Jessica, too embarrassed to stay, followed them reluctantly. Just as I was about to turn back to my food, I caught a meaningful look. Michael raised an eyebrow at me, a slight smile playing on his lips. Was this handsome guy looking at me? I quickly returned a deliberately reserved smile, trying to salvage my image. After the wedding, I noticed Michael about to leave. I hurriedly approached him to stop him.
Officer, can I add you on WeChat?
I took out my phone and displayed the WeChat QR code in front of him. Michael's eyes flickered slightly.
Why?
Because he had successfully caught my attention.
Because the guy at the wedding today kept bothering me. If he does it again, I can message you on WeChat. Will you come to protect me?
Michael pondered for a moment, seemingly finding my reason a bit far-fetched.
You can just call the police.
But aren't you a police officer? I can just tell you directly.
I looked at him tentatively, my eyes full of expectation. His eyes flashed, and he let out a low chuckle. He took out his phone and scanned my QR code. Beep! Successfully added as a friend. This trip wasn't in vain after all. After attending their wedding, that should be about it. According to the storyline, John would gradually fall in love with Emily during their married life, but he would stubbornly refuse to admit it. And then, after a year, Emily would leave heartbroken. Sigh. Such a frustrating plot. Not even as captivating as the gossip from the village ladies. I drove my luxury car all the way back to my mansion. Lying on the bed, I opened Michael's WeChat Moments. There was nothing. Even the background image was the default one provided by WeChat. So mysterious, steady, deep. I'm in love. Ding ding, my phone rang. The WeChat note was from John.
Qingqing, next Monday is grandmother's birthday. There's a banquet. Will you come?
Your grandmother, not mine. Why would I go to see your sour face? I quickly blocked his phone number and WeChat, but after I finished, I suddenly thought of something. Hee. I casually sent a message to Michael.
Are you there?
You know, John's grandmother's birthday is a big event in the city. Various families, big and small, will send people to congratulate her. I wondered if Michael, as a member of the Zhou family, would attend. If he did, wouldn't it be convenient for us to go together? After all, I'm scared, need protection, haha.
Yes, what's up?
He replied instantly.
Next week is John's grandmother's birthday. Will you be going?
Yes.
T.S. After a week of visiting nearby malls, I finally chose the dress for the birthday party. A pink strapless mini dress that revealed my delicate collarbones and long legs, paired with a pearl necklace. In one word, stunning. My skin was fair and smooth, my eyes bright and teeth white, a well-defined jawline, a straight and petite nose, and a pair of enchanting fox-like eyes. This extraordinary face didn't resemble gentle moonlight, but rather a passionate red rose in one's heart. After dressing up meticulously, I headed to the party. It was held in a luxurious hotel, as always. The hotel was filled with prominent figures from society. I glanced around, hoping to spot Michael. Instead, I locked eyes with someone who clearly had ill intentions.
What are you doing here? Trying to attract John again? How can you be so scheming?
It was none other than Jessica, strutting towards me in 15-centimeter high heels, her expression full of disdain.
I'm attracting your father.
Jessica looked at me in disbelief. Previously, my retorts were just sharp words, but now I had escalated to insulting her father. She stared wide-eyed, unable to believe such words came from my mouth.
Are you out of your mind? How dare you talk to me like that?
Who do you think you are?
I felt no emotional stirrings, even found it a bit amusing. Oh, dear author, if you lack writing skills, that's one thing. But why make the female supporting character so brainless? I rolled my eyes at her.
You. I warn you, stay away from John. Don't act like you've never seen a man before, or I won't let you off.
Can you install a GPS to figure out your own position? You're Emily's best friend, not John's wife. Why do you act like the main wife, catching mistresses everywhere?
Jessica's face turned red.
What nonsense are you spouting?
Jessica, could it be that you like John?
What nonsense? He's Emily's. How could I possibly like him?
Everyone here knows Emily is just a stand-in. She thinks she's hitched to John and can become a phoenix? Ridiculous. If you ask me, she's just using her resemblance to Anna to attract John.
So vile.
Did you squeeze laxatives into your mouth? Why are you spewing such filth?
The woman in red was taken aback, her face turning ashen.
Are you crazy? I'm speaking up for you.
Jessica was also stunned.
You're not speaking up for me. You're just being plain vile. Understand?
The woman in red got agitated and rushed at me, seemingly wanting to slap me. Unfortunately for her, I'm not one to be trifled with. Being a national champion in women's taekwondo is no joke. Just as I was about to grab her incoming hand and counter with a punch, a pair of strong hands intervened in front of me. Michael grabbed her hand with one of his and pulled me back a couple of steps with the other.
It hurts.
The woman cried out in pain. Several people turned their attention to us upon hearing the commotion. Michael released her hand and turned to look at me.
Are you all right?
His deep, magnetic voice sent a shiver down my spine, sweet as honey.
I'm fine.
I replied softly, trying to maintain my composure, though my heart was soaring. The woman in red blushed when she saw Michael coming to my aid and walked away awkwardly.
Thank you for helping me just now, Officer Michael.
I turned to him with a look of immense gratitude. Michael seemed pleased, scratching his head.
You're welcome.
A voice called from behind.
Emily?
John and Emily looked at me in surprise, clearly not expecting me to attend today's event.
Sarah is here?
Yes, I came to wish John's grandmother a happy birthday.
After I spoke, John's face darkened, and he pulled Emily into a corner. They seemed to be having a private conversation. I had no idea what was bothering John this time. I didn't pay much attention, just stared at Michael dreamily.
He's so handsome.
Why was he bothering you before? Oh, you mean John. I don't know why, but he's always pestering me, either offering to donate a kidney or saying all sorts of nonsense.
I said with a helpless expression. A flicker of an unreadable emotion passed through Michael's eyes.
In the future, if something like this happens again, you can come to me. I'll protect you.
Michael's ears turned slightly red as he spoke.
Oh my gosh, a handsome guy just said he'd protect me. Heaven must be smiling upon me. This is what I deserve after keeping myself pure for 23 years.
I looked at Michael with a smile on my face, but suddenly noticed something off in his eyes. Following his gaze, I saw that Emily had already fainted on the ground. I quickly ran over and saw Emily lying there, her face pale. John was so anxious that sweat was dripping from his forehead.
What are you standing there for? Call 911.
John stood still, looking at me in confusion.
You don't know 911, do you? Call your doctor friend.
How do you know?
Just do it.
He was taking forever. I really wanted to give him a good shake. John pulled out his phone and dialed a number.
Hello? Get over here quickly, Emily has fainted.
After he finished speaking, he paused for 5 seconds, listening to the person on the other end.
How could I possibly love her? We're just putting on a show.
Here we go again. Big boss, you're really something. Your act never ends. I couldn't take it anymore and grabbed John's phone.
If you're not here in 15 minutes, I'll eat your hat. Get over here now.
My roar echoed through the entire hall. I didn't care. I was really about to lose it. John stared at me in shock, his mouth agape, not knowing what to say. Michael's expression was also hard to read. Oops, I lost my temper. But it worked. The doctor's friend arrived shortly. Everyone in the hall had been cleared out. Only a few of us were left in the bedroom. The doctor, panting, picked up his stethoscope and listened for a while. Then he examined Emily's eyes closely. Before the doctor could speak, John suddenly lost it.
If you can't help her, I'll make sure you all pay.
Even my toes are cringing. The doctor seemed unfazed by this.
She seems to have fainted from exhaustion. She just needs to rest.
John let out a sigh of relief.
Take good care of her. We're leaving now.
After instructing John, Michael and I left the hotel.
Can you give me a ride home? I didn't drive today.
Sure.
Michael led me to a luxury car. He opened the passenger door for me and shielded my head. I got in, and he gently closed the door. Such a gentleman. He drove me all the way home. He only left after watching me enter the house. Since that fateful day, I would occasionally invite Michael out on dates. Sometimes he agreed, but often his duties at the police station kept him busy. Today was one of those days. I had planned to take him to the newly opened amusement park, but he was working overtime. I ended up sleeping until 2 in the afternoon, realizing that people can indeed sleep for 12 hours straight. Suddenly, the doorbell rang urgently. I shuffled downstairs in my slippers to open the door and was surprised to see John standing there.
John, what's up?
His tone was icy, a stark contrast to before. He brushed past me, barging into the house and sitting on the sofa without waiting for an invitation.
What is it?
Emily has been diagnosed with a serious illness.
I was at a loss for words. A serious illness? Could it be contagious? Was this some kind of twisted requirement for the heroine in a CEO romance novel?
So, can it be treated?
It can, but she needs a kidney donation from you.
I felt faint, almost ready to collapse on the spot. There were so many things wrong with this. I didn't even know where to start.
Why does it have to be my kidney?
Yours is the only match.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Was my kidney the only match on the entire planet?
Don't tell me my kidney is the only match on the entire planet.
John remained silent, just staring at me, seemingly confirming it.
I'm not donating my kidney. If you want one, donate yours.
Our kidneys aren't a match.
When he loved me, he treated me like a queen. Now that he doesn't, he wants to take everything from me. In the dimly lit room, John and Anna faced each other, tension evident in the air.
I will make it up to you.
Anna felt a growing sense of unease.
You're not planning to marry me, are you?
John didn't utter a word, but nodded reluctantly.
Damn. Is this compensation or punishment? What did I do to deserve this? I'm not interested in marrying you, so don't even think about it.
John flashed his familiar, mischievous smile, his thin lips parting slightly.
Stop pretending.
Pretend, my ass.
Unable to hold back any longer, Anna launched into a flurry of martial moves. A double kick, a downward chop, a whirlwind kick, a side kick, a front stomp, a spinning back kick. A scream echoed through the empty villa. John lay on the ground in a sorry state.
Trying to get my attention.
Before he could finish, Anna slapped him hard.
You're just trying to.
Another slap.
You're playing with fire.
A third slap. John fell silent, not daring to speak again. He suddenly pulled a piece of paper from his suit pocket and handed it to her.
Emily's condition is very serious. If you donate a kidney, we'll get married immediately.
Anna rolled her eyes, ignoring his nonsense, and opened the paper. Diagnosis. Patient has mild oral cancer. Emily's name was clearly printed on the diagnosis sheet.
Mild oral cancer? Isn't that just a mouth ulcer? I've never heard of needing a kidney donation for a mouth ulcer. This would be groundbreaking in the medical field.
It made her laugh.
May I ask, is this kidney for her to take orally?
Anna, how can you be so unreasonable? You've really disappointed me.
Absurd. This is simply absurd. Only by giving him another beating could I alleviate the shock to my soul. Straight punch, hook punch, uppercut, side kick, back kick, front kick. Listening to his pig-like screams echo for 3 rounds, I finally stopped.
What are you doing?
A voice suddenly came from behind me. It was Michael. I immediately put on a pitiful expression and ran to his side.
Officer Michael, help. He wants to take my kidney and force me to marry him.
My eyes were full of terror, looking like I had been bullied.
Did he hit you?
I looked at John's bruised and battered face, feeling too embarrassed to say he hit me.
I dodged it all.
He comfortingly patted my head.
Don't be afraid.
Then he grabbed a bloodied John and started walking out. We walked all the way to the police car Michael had driven over. Michael pulled out a pair of handcuffs from the car and cuffed John.
If you were trying to provoke me, let me tell you, you succeeded.
Michael looked at John with a speechless expression.
Shut up. You're the first person to talk to me like that.
Michael ignored him and walked over to me.
I'm taking him back to the station. Stay home and be good. I'll take you out when I get back.
Damn you, John. Give Michael back to me.
Okay.
Michael drove off with John in the police car. He should really be locked up for a few days, always acting like an organ trafficker, trying to take people's kidneys. Not at all like a normal person. I returned to the living room, and my phone vibrated. An unknown number was calling.
Hello? Who is this?
Is this Sarah?
Emily, a familiar sense of foreboding rose within me.
Yes. Do you need something?
I have cancer and don't have long to live. After I'm gone, I want you to take good care of John. You two should be happy together.
I was speechless.
Emily, while it's true that oral ulcers can't be completely cured, they won't kill you.
I know, I'm just a substitute. He never loved me. I only hope you two can be happy.
I'm about to lose my mind. You two are just set on tormenting me, aren't you?
Emily, to be honest, I'm sick too. The doctor said I only have a few days left. I just want to spend my last days in peace. I hope you can grant this small wish of a dying person. Please don't call me again. Thank you.
My voice was weak. A week passed, and I thought the matter had settled, until the doorbell rang urgently again, and I was furious. I stormed downstairs to open the door. An elderly lady with a kind face and a well-maintained middle-aged woman stood outside. Emily, how have you been? Grandma came to see you. John's grandmother? A few days ago, Emily told me you were ill. It scared me so much. Such a good girl like you, how could you have so little time left?
Yes, it's truly unfortunate.
What kind of act is this? Maintaining my good manners, I invited them into the house. I kept my composure.
Is there something you need from me today?
Sigh, child, you don't know. Emily's condition has worsened.
Yes, if she doesn't get a kidney transplant soon, her life is at risk.
I got it. Her oral ulcer has worsened. I finally understood. John's entire family is eyeing my kidney.
So, what? Since I don't have much time left, I shouldn't waste my kidney and just donate it to Emily?
Their eyes instantly filled with hope. Hope that I would do just that.
In your dreams, you two should go home and dream on.
The middle-aged woman got anxious when she heard me say that.
Child, you're not going to live long, anyway. What's the use of keeping it? Donating it to Emily, why not? How can you be so selfish?
Then call the police.
You.
Grandma patted the woman's hand, signaling her to stop. Emily, Grandma knows you're a good child. You wouldn't just watch Emily suffer, would you?
I'm not a good child. Don't label me.
Seeing that I was unmoved, they grew impatient.
You're going to pass away anyway. What's wrong with giving your kidney to Emily? I'm telling you, with the power of the John family, taking one of your kidneys is a piece of cake.
The genes of a powerful family are truly different. Their words come so easily.
I'm telling you, if you don't leave now, I don't care if you're old, weak, or whatever. I'll hit you both.
I cracked my knuckles.
What? What are you going to do? Are you crazy?
I couldn't bear it any longer and dragged them both out the door. Not hitting women is one of my good traditions. I vow to be vegetarian for 3 days, praying for Emily's oral ulcer to heal soon. Who knows how many people are eyeing my kidney? Half a month had passed, and Emily's mouth ulcer might have healed by now. Since that day, they hadn't contacted me again. However, Michael, worried that John might bother me, often sent me messages to check on my safety. A message popped up with a ding. Michael was inviting me out.
Want to go to the amusement park today?
Sure.
I quickly went to shower, put on makeup, and curled my hair. I thought it would be a perfect date. Unexpectedly, Emily showed up halfway through. We had just arrived at the amusement park and hadn't even been there for half an hour when I saw a familiar figure. Emily was sitting on a bench, tears in her eyes, looking despondent. I wanted to ignore her and enjoy my time, but seeing her so downcast, I couldn't help but walk over.
I really owe you two.
Michael and I approached her.
What's wrong?
Emily hastily wiped away her tears when she saw me.
I'm fine.
I frowned.
Did John bother you?
No.
She shook her head but couldn't hold back a couple of tears.
Sarah, you and John are a good match. After I leave, you two should get back together.
I was taken aback. A firm voice, tinged with anger, sounded in my ear. Michael frowned deeply, a hint of displeasure in his eyes. Was he jealous?
She won't get back with John.
Why?
Emily looked at him, puzzled.
Because she.
Because I have someone I like, and it's not John.
Michael turned his head, a glimmer of hope in his eyes.
Sarah, I sincerely wish you and John the best. You will be very happy together.
What had John done to her this time?
Are you expecting?
It hadn't even been a year. It shouldn't be possible.
No. No, how could that be?
So, she really was expecting. How did this happen so fast? This plot wasn't what I expected. The author must be heartless.
You and John must have some misunderstanding. How about I take you home later, and you two can talk it out?
Before I could finish, Emily sprinted away at lightning speed. Michael and I stood there, dumbfounded, then quickly chased after her. But seriously, how could a frail girl like Emily run so fast? She was like a sprinter, leaving afterimages behind. Was she secretly an athlete?
Where did she go?
She ran away with the baby.
The plot was bound to happen, no matter how it progressed. Right. I took out my phone and removed John from the blacklist. Just as I was about to call him and tell him to quickly go after Emily, Michael snatched the phone from my hand.
What's going on?
I looked at him, puzzled.
Don't call him.
Why not?
I don't want you two to have any more contact.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. Could it be that he's already fallen for my charm?
I
liked you.
We spoke at the same time, but Michael was quicker to confess. His ears turned bright red, and there was a hint of tenderness in his eyes. The little person in my heart was jumping for joy. This is thrilling. Man, you're playing with fire.
And you?
Ahem, I feel the same.
The next second, I was enveloped in a warm, broad embrace. Michael's chin rested on my shoulder, his warm breath tickling my ear. One thought kept echoing in my mind. I'm in love.
Ha ha ha. Who cares about handsome guys? I've got one right here.
Just as I was basking in the sweetness of love, I suddenly remembered something. Emily was still running. I needed to notify John quickly. What if something happened to her?
Call John. What if Emily is in danger?
Michael nodded, leaned on my shoulder, and took out his phone. He dialed John's number.
Hey, your wife ran off. You better go after her.
Ha, in City A, no one can escape my grasp.
Hearing John's faint voice on the other end of the line made my blood boil. What was he doing? Getting into character.
Emily is expecting. You better hurry up and go after her. If you keep dawdling, I swear I'll deal with you myself.
I practically growled the words out. Before he could respond, I hung up. I was afraid I might actually lose control and confront him.
Advancing the plot requires a wingman, and developing a relationship needs one too. And now, I've completely become the wingman for the main couple. The plot is entirely driven by my efforts. This family would...
That night, I tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. My mind was consumed with thoughts of Emily and John. Why did I, the so-called perfect one, have to worry about so much? As these thoughts swirled in my head, I began to drift off. Just as I was about to fall asleep, my phone rang, jolting me awake. Annoyed, I grabbed my phone to see who could be calling at this hour. The name, John, flashed on the screen. I had forgotten to block him again.
Hello? This better be something urgent, or else.
Emily is missing.
You really are impossible to deal with. I spent all morning talking to you. Didn't I already call you to tell you she was missing? How are you just realizing this now?
I thought she was playing hard to get.
Are you kidding me? Hurry up and find her.
Do you know where she might be?
How would I know? Wait, maybe the US. You should check there. After all, you have connections everywhere.
Got it.
Not even a thank you. Do I owe you something? I hung up the phone and lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling, lost in thought. I hoped John would find Emily soon and put an end to this drama. I was really exhausted. Days turned into weeks, and before I knew it, 3 months had passed. During these 3 months, Michael and I traveled everywhere: Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia. We had a blast. But despite the time that had passed, John still hadn't found Emily. I wasn't too worried, though. According to the storyline, she would definitely come back after having the baby. Not just that, but she would also raise the child to be a genius hacker, a prodigy. By my calculations, that would take at least 5 or 6 years. This meant Michael and I had plenty of time to enjoy our romance. Just thinking about it made me incredibly happy.
Come wash up and eat.
Michael wore a pink apron and held a spatula as he peeked out from the kitchen.
Coming.
I replied cheerfully, running to the dining table, eager for dinner. In no time, the table was filled with delicious dishes. I had to admit, Michael was a great homemaker. Cooking, washing dishes, mopping the floor. He did it all without me lifting a finger.
Thank you, Officer Michael.
I gave him a light kiss on the cheek.
It's nothing.
His face slightly flushed, a gentle smile playing on his lips. Just as we were about to start eating, the doorbell rang. I was about to get up, but Michael gently pushed me back down.
I'll get it,
he said, untying his apron as he walked towards the door. When he opened it, 2 small children stood there. A boy and a girl, about 4 or 5 years old, barely reaching Michael's knees.
Hello, Uncle. We're looking for Aunt Anna.
A soft, tender voice echoed through the room as Michael, looking puzzled, brought 2 children inside.
Aunt Anna,
The little girl ran into my arms, hugging me tightly and refusing to let go. I stared at the two children in utter confusion.
Who are you?
It couldn't be. It's only been 3 months. How could Emily have children this big? This is definitely not possible.
My mom's name is Emily.
What? Are you serious, kid? Did you two take some kind of growth supplement, or did Emily?
Lying is not allowed. If you lie, your nose will grow longer.
The little boy looked at me with disdain.
Auntie, we're not lying. My mom's name is Emily.
Haha, has time in America sped up? How can they grow so fast? Auntie is truly shocked.
Then, how did you get here?
I don't know.
The little girl shook her head. Just barged in, I guess. I mean, the author must be slacking off now. Just writing nonsense. Pure nonsense. Not considering anyone's feelings. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to calm down.
So, what are your names?
My name is Sophia and my brother's name is Ethan.
Don't tell strangers your name. Mom said it's very dangerous.
Ethan pulled his sister behind him protectively, looking at me warily.
You just called me Aunt Anna, didn't you? How am I a stranger now? Your mom must have mentioned me to you, right?
Yes, Mom often talks about Auntie. She says Auntie is a good person.
Tears welled up in my eyes. The white moonlight has finally shone through.
Since Mom says I'm a good person, Auntie definitely won't harm you. It's late, you must be hungry. How about we go eat first?
Ethan seemed to think I made some sense and relaxed a bit. Following my words, the two children devoured their food at the table.
What is going on?
From the moment the two children walked in, Michael's brows hadn't relaxed.
Didn't Emily just leave 3 months ago? How are the kids this big already?
This is hard to explain. I don't even know how to tell you, but since they're here, we can't just ignore them.
I had an indescribable expression on my face. How could I explain this to Michael? Even if I told him, he wouldn't believe it. It's too absurd.
Let's talk about it later. Let's eat first.
Seeing that I couldn't explain, Michael didn't press further. After dinner, I bombarded Emily's phone like crazy. I called countless times but couldn't get through. Great! Now I have to take care of their kids too. What a life of toil I lead.
Is there a computer here I can borrow?
What do you need a computer for?
I had to admit, these two kids really inherited all the best traits from their parents. They were like two little porcelain dolls, instantly endearing.
Don't worry about it. I have something to do.
Something to do? Oh, right. I almost forgot. This little porcelain doll in front of me is actually a top-notch hacker. I quickly found a computer for the little hacker, afraid of delaying his operation. After all, he was about to hack into John's company system, get discovered by John, and eventually lead the investigation to the female lead. This was a crucial moment for the protagonists to meet. The little hacker's fingers flew over the keyboard, and I watched in awe. In just a few minutes, he completed his task. Now we just had to wait for John to discover it. For the next few days, Michael and I lived with the two little ones. Surprisingly, we got along quite well. Every day, Sophia would snuggle into my arms, her sweet voice melting my heart. Ethan, with his small frame, displayed a maturity beyond his years, making him irresistibly adorable. I could suddenly imagine what life would be like if Michael and I had children. Ding dong, the familiar sound of the doorbell rang. Sure enough, it was Emily. The two little ones immediately ran into her arms.
Mommy, I missed you so much.
Mommy missed you too. Were you good at Auntie's place?
Yes, we really like Auntie and Uncle.
That's good. All right, you two go play now. Mommy needs to talk to Aunt Sarah.
The two little ones ran upstairs to their bedroom.
Sarah, I'm so sorry for the trouble these past few days.
It's no trouble at all. I really like the kids, they're very cute.
Where have you been? John has been looking for you. I went to the United States and found out I was expecting. After giving birth to these two, I missed home so much that I decided to bring them back for a visit. We ran into some trouble on the way, so I had to send them to you. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience.
It had indeed been a long time, 3 months, and the kids had grown so much.
It's no trouble. Michael and I really like the kids.
Are you with Michael now?
Yes, I told you before, I don't have feelings for John.
The sound of the door being forcefully opened echoed through the house.
Emily, you're back?
John barged into the house with 2 bodyguards, his eyes filled with shock. The 2 children, hearing the commotion, ran downstairs.
Mr. John, these are the 2 kids I mentioned who look just like you.
The bodyguard pointed at Emily's siblings. John looked at Emily, then at the children, a realization dawning on his face.
These are my children, aren't they?
No.
Heh, who else but my kids could hack into the company's system? You can't hide this from me. Carrying my blood, and you still want to run? Woman, who gave you the courage?
The 2 children stood protectively in front of Emily.
Don't bully my mom.
Yeah, big meanie. Don't bully my mom.
I gave you a chance, don't be ungrateful.
A sharp slap landed on John's face. Emily had hit him.
Narcissist, ordinary guy, stay away from me. The children are mine and have nothing to do with you. Now get out.
John looked at Emily in shock, unable to believe what he was seeing.
What is going on?
Emily looked at John with disdain.
Just because a slimy eel touches some seawater, it thinks it's seafood? Stay away from me.
With John's face still in shock, Emily picked up a broom nearby and chased him out the door. Finally, she turned to Sarah with a relieved smile.
Sarah, I'll need you to take care of the kids for a bit longer. I have some things to take care of. Thank you.
Emily walked away with a spring in her step.
Brother, is Mom going to date that Uncle Zhang?
Mind your own business, kid.
Could she have awakened as thoroughly as I did? Did she get a time travel script like me?
All right, stop staring and go wash your hands for dinner.
Michael hugged Sarah from behind. Since Emily arrived, he had been cooking in the kitchen, occasionally checking on the situation.
Why didn't you come out to see what was happening? Weren't you curious?
If I don't understand it, I don't watch it. I need to finish cooking so you won't be hungry.
Turn around, lower your head.